More than just perhaps a challenge there on Brian McGuigan. But it doesn't matter, it's only a matter of playing out time. It's Tyrone that go through to the Ulster semi-final on a full-time score of Tyrone 214, Antrim 113.
Obviously we haven't been playing ourselves, and we have a tendency, seems to be, to almost fade in second halves of games, and I think that as much as anything Mickey's going to have to look at. It was a hot day today, and we always knew the game was going to open up in the second half, but you know, it just isn't good enough that we are maybe taking our foot off the gas, and it's similar to last year, and we have to get that ruthless streak back in us.
No, probably in the first half we showed Tyrone too much respect, so we done the same in the first half of the Ulster final last year. You know, we thought with that problem sorted out, but you know, second half we were very, very good. You know, we completely cleaned Tyrone out in the middle of the field in the second half, so we did, and you know, a draw on the end probably would have been a fair result there, maybe.
Your critics might say to you, well, some of these guys are probably gone past it. I don't think you are you?
I doubt it now. Whenever you're looking at Kevin Hughes and next to Stevie O'Neill there today, they're as fit as what they ever are, and Mickey picks his team on merit. I don't think I think if you asked any of 37 guys, was you know, the 15 guys starting there today, they're on merit, and they'll tell you they were the fittest and strongest, and players that are probably playing as well as anyone in training.
I still think it will be very hard to beat. You haven't heard the last of us this summer, so you haven't, and hopefully the draw will be favourable to us, and we'll get a handy enough draw, if there is such thing as a handy draw, and maybe we'll be able to push on through the qualifiers.
Everyone wants the handy draw. Oisín, that point made there, lots of people this morning in the papers were suggesting that maybe Tyrone are over the hill. What do you make of them now, having watched them?
Certainly haven't watched them today. I don't think there's a changing of the guard ready just yet in Ulster, but I just felt as if Tyrone, you know, their experience shone through in the end. You know, they played slightly better than Antrim on the day. They just did enough. Physically, you know, Antrim weren't at the races first half, but Tyrone, in fairness to them, you know, this is a good stepping stone for them, and they'll realise, I suppose, that there's bigger fish to fry, you know, in the coming days. But I would see Tyrone as probably not peaking as yet. But certainly, you know, come August or September, you know, there'll be another team to look out for. You think they'll be in the shake-up very much at the end? I think they'll be in the shake-up. I think there's only a couple of teams can win the All-Ireland, and certainly, you know, they'll be one of them. They'll not be that happy with what went on today, but, you know, it's a win, and they march on to the semi-final, and, you know, they're going to be hard to talk to. Right, who are the others who'll win? Who can win? Kerry can win? Kerry can win, and Cork can win. You probably, you know, after those three, you know, you can throw a blanket over the rest. Will they welcome you home and cross me? I'm just trying to play down the chances for now until we see how we get on against Mulla. All right, well, that'll be an interesting one. Dara, you were interested in particular in the role of Joe McMahon.
Yeah, Joe has played numerous roles for Tyrone, I suppose, over the years, famously in the 2008 final as well, where he dropped back to the full back line, named in the forwards. Just like today, you drop back, and I think, you know, it's a bit simplistic to say that it's a blanket defence. What you need to do is select a player who's comfortable on the ball, and Joe McMahon is certainly very, very comfortable on the ball, and he filled a lot of spaces today, marked an awful lot of space. We have him circled here, and he's played this role between the half back line and the full back line to perfection. And at the end of this move, where the ball is actually lost, it trickles into Joe McMahon's hands. And I think the key point is, it's not just an ordinary player. An ordinary player would just hoof this one away. He's looking to find the pass all the time coming out of defence. Likewise here, he's marking space, sees there's a man loose, and just tips it away from him, and again gets away a quality pass. Always does that. And he's just so comfortable on the ball, uses his strength. Again, Tyrone forwards filtering back. Who do they give it to? Joe McMahon picks a clever pass, and that's the role that's suited to a good footballing brain. Again here, he's just marking space, putting an extra body back there. But the key point is, when he does get on the ball, he's so constructive in possession. And he's not just giving off this pass, he's going for a return, gets the return eventually, takes a big hit, and then pops a beautiful diagonal ball. Any forwards dream ball into Stephen O'Neill, who wins a free. You know, it's just the quality of his distribution once that move breaks down. I think that's the key point. You have to pick. Not everybody could fill that role that Joe McMahon played today.
But it does beg an interesting point, which is always raised, Oisín, that, you know, when there is someone back marking that space, well, there's a free man, etc., outside, and how are they used or whatever. But Antrim today found it hard to penetrate through that Tyrone defence.
Yeah, a lot of the movement was lateral movement, and I suppose the only way to counteract, you know, that blanket defence is to play the ball long into the Antrim full forward line. And in fairness, Antrim did play a few balls in the second half and got a little bit of success, But generally speaking, Tyrone were able to cut those long passes out, and Joe McMahon was certainly central to that. And I think Dara makes a good point in that, when Joe McMahon gets the ball, he's not content with just, passing it out or hoofing it out of defence. He's linking the play all the time, and he's looking for that killer ball into his full forward line. And
we see it there again. They're doing it, Dara.
They always have this outlet, and they force Antrim into taking options that they don't necessarily want to do. Here we have nib-block crossfield ball. There's a lot of space up here. The ball trickles out towards the far sideline. Again, they've lost ground here. If this was rugby, you'd be talking about losing yards. Yeah. But here again, they're picking up the ball, and the options aren't really there because there's bodies. Everywhere you look, there's a body. And again, Joe McMahon here again, sitting in the pocket, not particularly picking up anybody. But again, they have to go cross field, and it's really, really frustrating. At this stage, Tyrone have bodies back, plenty of bodies back, and you look up, you see a white jersey, you're not going to kick the ball away. Kevin McGurty doesn't really have an option. So here, again, we have two. Ideally here, you want to pop a ball into Paddy Cunningham, you can't, so you have to go for a long range point under pressure, and it plays into Tyrone's hands there, just kicking the ball away, kicking possession away, move restarting again, counter-attack.
And they do it so well, and they have done it very well, and teams have struggled. But then again, Cork last summer in August in the semi-final, Cork beat them by, going at them with pace.
Going at them with pace, but also when they played the long ball into the full forward line, they have Cork have ball winners, big, strong, physical men who can win their own ball, turn and kick it over the bar. And I think that's where Antrim maybe were slightly lacking today.
Can Antrim still go further?
Antrim can cause teams a lot of bother. I don't think they'll be necessarily too afraid of who they meet in the qualifiers. I think Antrim will improve for today, and they'll not come up against a defence like that every day either.
All right, okay. Towards the end, Antrim were back in it, Dara, but they weren't able to.
Yeah, it was kind of shades of Ulster final 2009. They did bring themselves back into a position, mainly due to great substitutions. And we have chances, and I suppose a key chance here, not particularly singling out Aidan Gallagher. He gets a great opportunity, ball flicked down by Paddy Cunningham, and it is very scoreable. There wasn't a whole lot of pressure. The pressure came after the kick, And again, they had two critical frees giving up. We don't actually see what this was for, but it was enough to warrant a yellow card for Aaron Douglas. And he did play well enough. It's a tap over free at a critical stage when they had brought the game down to 3 points. We're back up to 4 points. Again, they had brought it back down to 3 points here, and they conceded a needless enough free. And it's handy enough free for James Lockwood to be given away there at that stage. It's a tap over free for Sean Kavanagh. And okay, they were 4 points down still, and you'd expect some bit of constructive attacking play here, but they just run out of options. Kick a high ball, aimless ball in that trickles out over the end, and the game just peters out. They're demoralising kicks from an Antrim point of view, and it's a poor way to finish out a game.
All right then, but it was interesting that they're up for the qualifiers, because you sense other teams who get knocked out early that it drops a bit.
Oh, there's absolutely no doubt they're going to be up for the qualifiers. I think they'll be very much encouraged by the performance in the qualifiers last year. They ran Kerry very, very closely, and Kerry were worried at various stages in that game. So that's the encouraging sign for them, and they'll probably go back and play football with their clubs. So the club scene in Antrim's very strong, and just to change the scene, and they'll get back on the wagon again.
Contenders for man of the match?
There was a few on either side, I suppose. The fitness levels shown at a very early stage by a lot of the Tyrone veterans was good. We had Joe and Justin McMahon played well. Sean Kavanagh played well right through, had major contributions. Kevin Hughes looked very good early on until he was substituted. And from the Antrim side, you had James Lockray. And the substitutions, as I said, Kevin and CJ McGurty worked very, very well. So there was numerous players to be selected on either side.
I will make history and let an Armagh man name man of the match from Tyrone, Oisín.
Yeah, we give it to Justin McMahon because he was outstanding during the game. His defensive play was very good, but also those long busting runs, from full back and run today, and the heat of the day, it wasn't easy.
It's a nightmare, Kevin, for when you're marking a fellow who's nominally a defender, but who goes up the far end of the field doing that.
And that's a big feature of the modern game. Certainly when I was playing, it wasn't too many times you'd run back and. After him, but it'd fly out running up and down the field after him.
Even the key there to Justin McMahon's point, he trusts the people that he's left behind him to cover up for him.
That is very, very important.
And that's a real comfort zone to have.
Okay, well, let's hear from the man of the match then, Justin McMahon.
Congratulations, Justin. You're the GA Championship man of the match for this particular Ulster quarter-final. What do you make of the game?
Yeah, it was a great start for ourselves, but the second half now was a lot tighter, and we're just thankful that we came through the one in the end.
It certainly was put up to you in the second half, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Antrim, we knew at half time that they were going to come at us strongly, and they showed that. And we were just grateful that the final whistle went at the end, and we kept the scoreline as it was.
All right, well, we're heading back to Portlaoise now to see how Offaly